Hey guys, it's DC and welcome to the Soap Sanctuary where all soap lovers are welcome. This is my Soap Sanctuary review, Conflict of the Heart, YNR's Nate, and GH's Portia. So this is not a weekend review. This is not like a day-by-day review, like a 5-day review like it would be for Brock or Albert or Laniki or the lady who does the GH YNR spoilers. I decided to try something new. Weekly reviews are kind of tough for me lately with everything going on, and school comes first, you know what I'm saying? And I also can't do 5 days a week review, but I figured why not just give reviews on my take on storylines and developments as they come? Because I do have some time during the week to do this, you know, here and there. So I feel like this can be done in one way or another. So I'm like, why not do that? Because I feel like JLJ Media does something kind of similar with his channel in a way. So I'm like, okay, why don't I be able to do the same? Because even though like I want to say this, that like back in January, I was actually just going to close the channel in January. I'm not going to lie to you. Not because I was mad or anything, or I wasn't making numbers, just because I was just too busy. And I was like, I don't know if I can really keep doing this. And when I first started the channel, I said that I would do Soap Sanctuary for 2 years and then reevaluate. And March, I think, makes it the 2-year mark for me at this point, right? He's gonna 2 years. Even though my videos only date back to October, but there was a time before that and the channel shut down, so I don't see those videos. But anyways, so for me, I wanted to be kind of like intentional with how I try this channel. Like with Albert, I would say this really quickly. I'm gonna get right into the video. With Albert, what I love about him and the way he does his channel, he's very intentional about how he does his channel. And I love that. I mean, we're all doing this for fun and for enjoyment, and there's nothing wrong with that either, right? But it's always something nice when you see somebody doing something intentionally, with intention. I love that. But anyways, I'm gonna try to be more intentional. Leave a link below in my description of past videos and stuff like that, and things you guys can catch up on. But anyways, guys, I want to get right into this video. But before I get into that, really quickly, I want to talk about the live that I did last weekend with Albert, JLJ Media, aka James Lott Jr., and Brock TV. Definitely a full circle moment for me. Absolutely loved it. I was very grateful for the opportunity to be able to have done that live with them. And if you guys haven't, check it out. I'll also post in the description box. You should be able to see it. I hope this video ages well, and I actually did that, you know? All right, but moving on. This is our Soap Sanctuary review, Conflict of the Heart, YNR's Nate, and GH's Portia. Two of my favorite people so far in these storylines. So let's start with the Young of the Restless, the YNR's Nate Hastings Jr., aka Nate. This is my take on Nate, what's been going on with him in this storyline. To me, what I see when I see Nate, I see a good man who is going through a crisis. And I guess in some ways, I see a lot of myself in Nate, right? I guess that's why I've been giving him so much more grace than probably the rest of the viewers have. He has sacrificed it all for Elena, his career, right? Granted, yes, you slept with your cousin's girlfriend, I get it. He made some choices, but he sacrificed it all for Elena. And I think in the end, he ended up, I think, damaging his hand, so he wasn't able to practice as a physician anymore. The thing about that is that Nate kind of went through an identity crisis on YNR, kind of saw that. He was going into the business world, trying to find his footing, and this is not his typical world. He's a doctor first. So that was very tough for Nate to kind of wrestle with. And the thing about it is that, yes, he did try to sabotage Lily and Devon's company, and I get it. But the thing is that when we're lost as people, we do a lot of things to try to numb the pain. And we do a lot of self-destructive things when we're lost and we don't know where we're at in life. And I've been where Nate is at in life, where you've had to do like a career change, a career trajectory, and it's made you maybe feel lost, maybe lash out on some people, the ones that you love, who maybe didn't all the way deserve it. And I understand that. So, but looking at Elena, right, I feel like she could have given him the grace and the chance to make the right decisions and not go into that meeting that was at Chance of Winners and try to expose him. Why not give him the chance to make the right move? Because, sis, this has nothing to do with you. You work for Newman Media. So, sis, like, stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your lane. Stay in your place. Nate is in his place. You stay in your place. All right? Everybody play their roles here. Play your role. That's how I feel. Play your role. But she didn't even give Nate that chance. She didn't even trust him enough to give him that chance. And I think for me, that was my biggest issue with Elena. You see this man is hurting. You see he's going through some stuff. You're with him, aren't you? You're still with him now. Trust that he would make the right decision when the time comes. Because if you're with somebody and you can't even trust them to do right by you or to make the best decision as you see fit to serve the both of you when the time comes, that's probably not somebody you should be with. So when she, you know, coming in like, Nate, I had to say something. Before she went off to Baltimore, I'm like, sis, you should have stayed in Baltimore, right? You should have stayed in Baltimore. Now look what's going on, right? This is why I feel like Imani was that woman for Nate. She was. And I don't know what happened with that in the actress. And you know, YNR was botching up storylines. There's typical soaps. It looks like they're leading somewhere and they don't do it. Like, remember back in the day when it looks like Devon and Lily were going to have a romance and they quickly dropped it? I know y'all remember that, right? I'm not trying to get all guiding light on y'all, but I know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. And the thing about it is that instead of having Imani, we now have Victoria, who was his boss, who was preying on him. That's exactly what Victoria is. Victoria was like, almost like a female creep, right? Because had it been reversed, there'd been a lot of backlash. Nate's taking advantage of Victoria, etc., etc. Now we see this double standard being present, okay? Victoria is definitely taking advantage of Nate, okay? There's a hashtag for that. Anyways, but I do feel that Nate wants more from his relationship, and Elena's not giving that. She's not that woman for him. She doesn't have that je ne sais quoi, that zhuzh that he's looking for. You know, it's almost like people. You know, if any of you guys have dated before, been in relationships, we've all been in that one relationship that we can pinpoint where we're like, this person don't got it. Like, you know they don't got it. You know they don't got it. You know they don't got that zest, that thing you're looking for. I'm not talking about drama or allure or danger, but they don't have that particular thing that you know that you need. That zhuzh. You know what I'm talking about. That zhuzh. You know what I'm talking about. And Elena's just not that woman for him. She's not that woman. She's not that woman for him. I don't know that she knows who Nate Hastings really is. I don't know that she knows that. I'm wondering if she knows who she is. I'm wondering if she knows that. And I know you guys are probably listening to this review like, DC, I really can't believe DC. But you know what the thing is? When I look at characters on soaps, I look at the archetypes, I look at the writing, and I look at what am I really getting when watching this? Because that's what I see on scene. I see a man who sacrificed it all, and he's really lost. He's really lost, and I feel with him. I empathize with him. I've been where he's been at before. So I really see a lot of myself in Nate so much. I really see that. Nate needs that structure and guidance. I think he thought he was going to get that from Devon, and then he didn't. The Barbers, Winters, Hastings clan, oh my God, Lord, so many last names, good Lord. They need a family figure. Neil was kind of that, and then obviously Christoph St. John had his own stuff going on, and now he's no longer with us, may rest in peace. But they don't have that. But they can. I feel like the family can still have that now, though. Justin is over in LA on Bold and Beautiful. He's not doing anything. He could be that figure. Come in, Justin Barber. Come on. Come on, Cousin Justin, take out the realms. He has that in him. We saw what he did to Bill. He's got that in him. He can lead this family to where they need to be. He can lead them to where they need to be. The only problem with that is that the Winters, Barber, Hastings clans, God, that's a mouthful. There's no identity. There's no clear structure. For one thing, everybody got a different last name. Let's start there. Problem number one. Problem numero uno. Everybody got a different last name. That is already kind of confusing to new viewers coming in. See, I don't know if writers are thinking about this. It's kind of like on Days of Our Lives where we had EJ Wells and Chad Woods. Soon enough, the show changed EJ's name to Demir and Chad's name to Demir because it makes sense. It'll get too confusing at some point. You know what I mean? It gets to be kind of confusing when so many people have so many different types of last names. Now, with Jack and Jack, they kept Jack's last name as Devereaux, even though he's technically a Johnson. And I'm okay with that, right? Based off the history and the writing. I'm okay with that. Just like how Gus on Guiding Light, he was still an Itoro, even though he was technically a Spalding, right? But when everybody got a different last name, that's a problem. That's a problem. Devon is a Hamilton. Lily is a Winters. Nate is a Hastings. Lily's children are Ashby's. And Devon's son is a Chancellor, okay? So many different last names. There's no clear organization. To me, that's like a problem. That's a problem. But that would be my take on that. And I think that Nate is definitely a good man. He just needs that. But let me move on to Portia, because I'm like 8 minutes into Nate. Let me move on to Portia. This is what I see of Portia and GH. I know, like, DC, why are you always defending those people? Because I see something in them. I see something. Plus, I'm always having fun doing my reviews. Well, Portia, I see a woman trying to keep her family together. This is what I see, right? Because there is a stigma of when a woman has an affair as opposed to a man. I think we know that at this point, right? Sonny has had 10,000 affairs on GH, and nobody has batted an eyelash with Sonny, right? But I'm going to get to him in a little bit. The thing about it is that Curtis did admit to having a drug problem back in the day, right? He did admit to that. So this is my thing is too, got to look at it from Portia's point of view. She's trying to build her family. She had an affair. Her husband was an FBI agent, and, you know, he could do some things to Curtis and take care of him, okay? He could take care of him. And I know we want to think Tag was one of the good guys, but when people find that out in the heat of the moment, you don't know what they could do. FBI, police, sheriff, deputy, mall cop, you don't know what they could do in those moments. You just don't know, okay? You just, especially when you have that kind of access, right? And the thing about it is, I know I'm going so in-depth in this, but what if Portia had that thought process of, who do I want to be the father of my daughter? A man who is a recovering drug addict, which is nothing wrong with that, he's maybe trying to get his life together, or the man who is an established FBI agent who I've already built a life with. Because imagine she would have told Tiger, hey, Trina's not your daughter. Before Trina was born, or Trina might not be your daughter before Trina was born. Do you think he would have maybe stuck around the same way? Sure, maybe afterwards, right? Possibly. But what about beforehand? Would he have stuck around? And it's easy for Tiger to say, I love my daughter. I would have never left. It's easy to say that 20-some years later because you already have this established bond with Trina. But what if that wasn't present prior? What if that was not present prior? Like, meaning that if Portia was still pregnant with Trina at the time, Trina hadn't been born yet, would you have still felt that way? Then it was a DNA test and proving that Curtis was the father. Would you still felt that way? So that's something I kind of wonder. Would you have still felt that way? You know? And I feel like Portia did the best thing that she could. Personally, I feel like Curtis needs to work with Portia. Because granted, she doesn't even know for sure if you're the father or not. So how are we holding this woman accountable if she doesn't know? Yes, she's a doctor. Yes, she could have done DNA tests. Yes, she could have done all that. But she does not technically know who is the father of Trina. She has no biological proof yet, which I'm really shocked we haven't gotten that yet. GH, come on, it's been a year. Trina refusing to get the DNA test is doing too much. It's been a year now. We don't even know if y'all are going to make it past this year, okay? For real, because soaps are on a chopping block every year the way I see it. Contract or not. So I feel like we should just get to that at this point with GH. But my whole thing is that I don't know how we can hold Portia accountable for something she really does not actually know. And she was trying to hold her family together. She really was. And at the end of the day, even if Curtis knew, he was a recovering drug addict. We could say that could have saved him, that could have made him want to change his life together, or it could have made things worse. Who's to say for sure what Trina's life would have been like? Could she have been the same woman if Curtis raised her? Honestly, when you look at those things, could she have been this heroine who's trying to be the next Robin Scorpio on the show? Could that have worked? Could that have worked the same way? We've got to look at those components, right? That's what I'm looking at. And so I stand with Portia. And Portia is not one of my favorite characters on GH. She's really not. I love Brooke Kerr, though. I love her. I love Brooke Kerr. But Portia is not one of my favorite characters on GH because, to me, I see what Portia's trying to do. I feel like Portia is trying to keep her integrity intact. And I don't think she's just trying to save her ass. I think she was really trying to do what she thought was best for her daughter. Because it's not like she needed Taggart. She wasn't like a woman that was a kept woman at home. She had her own money. She could do her own thing. But it's like she was trying to think of what kind of foundation I want to give my daughter. And in a way, she did give this. She did give Trina that. Sure, and we can't even say if it was based on lies or not. Because she didn't know. She still doesn't know if Curtis yet was a biological father. So I feel like it's almost like we can say lie by omission, but technically, is it really a lie? Was it really based on lies? Was it initially and intrinsically based on a lie if she didn't know? And like I said, it's harder for women when they have affairs. They are more stigmatized. Because like I said this before, Sonny has had over like 10,000 affairs on GH, and nobody has batted an eyelash till now for Nina because most of the GH universe doesn't like Nina. That's it. But y'all didn't have no problem before. This is why now all of a sudden everyone's like looking at giving Sonny the side eye since Nixon Falls because they don't like Nina. But Sonny, I love Maurice Bernard, but Sonny's has always been basura. That's Spanish for trash, right? Sonny has always been that. But now everybody's only seeing that now because he's involved with someone they don't like, right? Interesting how that works, right? Not because it's with Nina. Nina, it technically is just Kate Howard 1.5. I can't even say 2.0, 1.5. Because Nina, Kate Howard had that thing where she walked in the room and you knew who she was. She was that chick. You know what I'm saying? Kate Howard was that chick. Nina kind of walks into a room and she doesn't know she owns it yet. It's like she needs to check with whoever's around first to see if she owns the room. And if everyone is like, yeah, you own the room, she's like, yeah, then I own it. That's what Nina is. Nina is growing, right? This is a woman who's been in a coma for 20 years. She's still trying to find her place in the world. You can see it. And this is why I don't like that Nina has been kept away from Willow, and Willow just so gung-ho about Carly and them. Because listen, if you get on the wrong side, Willow, they will ice you out just the same. Nina is your mother, so she there's at least the presumption that she would be there for you through more adversity than those people would. So be mindful, sis. Be mindful. I was gonna say be mindful. But Sunny has a type, right? Sunny has a type, and that's a classy woman. Sunny likes some classy woman that can be kept. Woman that can stay home, mind her business, and do what you gotta do. Now here's the thing though. Brenda will always be the love of Sunny's life.
And Sonny can't stand to admit that he's wrong.
Yeah.
So he married you because it would have been too embarrassing not to, and now he's stuck with you.
I'm the only woman that Sonny's ever really loved.
Really?
Ever. Well, yeah, the whole world knows that.
Okay.
And the truth is, if you weren't so threatened by me, then you wouldn't waste your time hating me all the time and thinking about me and coming to talk to me.
But now, see, there's another thing to keep in mind, though. Even though Brenda will always be the love of Sonny, the true love, in my opinion, of Sonny's life, Brenda couldn't be kept like the way Carly could. Brenda was a class act, right? The Quartermains loved her, almost everyone loved her, but she couldn't be kept like the way Carly could. Right? Carly is a wild card, fiery, feisty. She wants to tell it like it is. She acts like her shizzle don't stink, right? But it smells like everybody else's. But Brenda was too independent. And Carly has been a woman that is like the dutiful wife. Up until just recently. Now she's finally emerging out of that role. We're seeing Carly finally emerging out of having a voice. Now it's like, she said to Victor the other day, he's like, Mrs. Corinthos. And she goes, it's Carly Spencer. You know what I'm saying? Like she's owning now her own identity outside of Jason and Sonny. Because that's all she's ever known for the longest time, is those two. But Brenda to me is that woman. And I feel like every woman since has been a placeholder. Has been a placeholder. That's it. That's been a placeholder for Brenda. That's it. They've been that placeholder. I don't know if Vanessa Marcel Giovinazzo, or if it's just Vanessa Marcel now, if she'll ever come back to GH. I don't know how I feel about recast, but if they were to recast Brenda, I had two ideas in mind. I shared on Albert's Live. What if they recasted her with Beth Ann Bonner, who played Talia Saeed, the daughter of Carlo Hesser on One Life to Live? Or if they had, well, Eva Longoria's not going to do it. Her money is trumping soap money right now. It's trumping soap money. She doesn't need it. But Eva Longoria did play ex-Isabella on The Young and the Restless, right? I could see either two of these women playing a recast Brenda if that ever came down to. Which, Eva Longoria coming back, so I don't think it'd be that far-fetched if she's like a guest stint. Like you know, just like how they have Jack K. Harry on Days, we need more of these celebrities come back in to inject life in the role, because that's what's saving Days. See, Carvelotti is strategic and intentional. That's what the man is doing. He's strategic and intentional. So I can say, I think that those two could work. Or Michelle Ray Smith, who played Ava Peralta on Guiding Light. I know it doesn't like she could play a recast Brenda, because Brenda kind of has a little bit of that spunk. And Ava was kind of mousy on Guiding Light. But I think Michelle Ray Smith, this could be the time for her to evolve past that role of Ava and bring something new to the table. I think it's possible. I honestly to God think it's possible, honestly. Now, this is one thing I want to get into. I'm done with this review. I'm done with this quick, short review, guys. So it's not short, like 20 minutes. But this is my thing, right? Everyone's complaining about the choppy writing in GH. Do you guys regret now complaining when Carvelotti was writing and he was bringing the One Life to Live people? How do y'all feel now? Because, you know, I don't know what it is, but I feel like the moment they took One Life to Live off the air and they replaced it with The Revolution, I swear it's like somebody cursed that 2 o'clock hour, because it's never been the same since. No show has done well in that 2 o'clock hour since One Life to Live left. Whether it was The Revolution, Good Afternoon America, or whatever all these shows were, no other show has done well in that 2 o'clock slot. It just hasn't been. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of, if any of you guys seen The Color Purple, the part where Celie goes to Mr. and she goes like this. You know, she puts her fingers out. She goes like, until you do right by me, everything you do gon' fail. Or if you've seen the movie Holes, where Stanley's great-grandfather, Stanley Yelnats, his great-grandfather, has to bring Madame Zeroni up the mountain. He doesn't. And she says to him, if you don't bring me up the mountain, you and your family will be cursed for all of eternity. That's That's what I feel like is happening to that 2 o'clock hour ABC. That 2 o'clock time slot ABC. It's been cursed ever since, you know? It's almost as if some of them would like to live cursed and said, until you do right by us and this reboot we're trying to do, nothing you do will prosper. Because if you notice, GH has not been the same since they moved this at 2 p.m. time slot. It has not been the same since. And they always complain about Carvelotti. Now that's what you got. And you know what? I take responsibility too. I was complaining during the Bob Guzzi years. I was complaining, but GH was like an event back then when you watch. Now GH is trying to take this all my children, one life to live approach to the writing, and that's not what the viewers are used to. It's not. It's not what they're used to. But I think that GH still has potential. They just know how to write, and I think they need to be more daring with their storylines. Soaps are too scared. You know, I was watching Ruthless and The Oval the other day, 2 Tyler Perry shows. I'm like, you know what I love about Tyler Perry? He writes so different from anybody else I've seen on TV. Him and James Riley are 2 very distinct type of writers. They are not afraid to go there, right? And you need that. When things are too predictable, what are we doing here? The reason why some of these shows in the past are so great because we couldn't predict it. Now we can predict it. We need something new. We need something fresh. And a lot of these soap writers are so afraid to go there for whatever the reason. But I think those things could help soaps a lot. It could help. We need those elements there. I don't need my soap operas to be politically correct. I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I need them to be real. There's a difference with that. I don't know if that even makes sense when I say that. So there was a really quick before I go, guys. There was a subscriber. I don't know if it was on me and Albert's channel where they said they wish that there was more representation of people with disabilities on soaps, and I definitely agree with that. I think Hollyoaks has done that, giving like a character front and center who has a physical or limiting disability, or what you want to call it, if I'm saying that correctly. But this is my thing with soaps, and I will say this again till the day is blue. I do not watch soaps for representation. I don't. I watch other content creators and other streaming platforms that give me the representation that I need, whether it's BIPOC, LGBTQIA. I watch those platforms for that. It's almost like when a spouse is in a marriage and they know they're not getting what they need from the marriage, so they go to an outside party, and because they're getting their fix from somebody else, they're good. But you know, they're only staying in the marriage because it's like they've got too much invested. That's like my relationship with soaps. I get my diversity and my representation fix somewhere else, but I'm still here, this marriage with the soaps, because I just got too much invested, too much time invested. Kids, the farm, you know what I'm saying, the health insurance plan. That's how it is. But I'm serious, and I support those people because I don't think that these platforms have the capacity. When I mean capacity, it doesn't mean they can't. It's just that they have the capacity in terms of understanding and wisdom to do these things. And so I'm not going to vie for diversity. If you notice, I've never talked about it. I don't talk about diversity or representation on these shows. It's not a big thing for me because I go get my fix somewhere else. But for those of you who may only watch soaps or only watch certain things on television and you're not getting that, I could understand where the insufficiency, you know, in terms of your media that you're watching comes into play, like what you feel with that. I could understand that because you're not getting it. But I'm getting my diversity and representation fix somewhere else, you know? And I am supporting those people who are making that content. And it's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, it's good content. It's pretty good content. I'd rather, there's nothing wrong with wanting that on that television, like I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'd rather the people who are already making that content just go over there. I don't want people to let me in a room when there's already someone across the street who got a room ready for me. Does that make sense? Oh, does that make sense, guys? But I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting that either. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Anyways, guys, that is my quick Soap Sanctuary review. That's not quick. This is probably like 25 minutes so you guys get this and it starts posting. But that is my quick Soap Sanctuary review. Conflict of the Heart. YNR's Nate and GH's Portia, guys. Thanks for rocking with me. I'm not going to mention nothing about me trying to do no lives or trying to do this weekend because every time I say that, it never happens. So you just got to watch out. I do got some videos I'm working on, but I'm not going to say nothing until they post. You never let your right hand know what your left hand is up to. That's life, okay? That's life. Anyways, guys, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys for your support on this channel. Thank you guys for supporting us in the live last week with Albert, Brock TV, and Gel Media, the Anthony Zakharov Soups. Thank you guys so much for that, guys, and I will see you guys on the next video. This has been Soap Sanctuary.